Ever since the start of the Disney Plus streaming platform, it was only a matter of time before the MCU came in, and they did earlier this year with their first ever series, Wandavision. The series became a huge hit ever since the announcement from Kevin Feige long before its initial release. You can imagine the fan base it has now, after the show has already ended. And today, we're going to talk about some of the visual effects and how the series would pan out if they were not incorporated in the first place. Enjoy! WandaVision setting. This American television miniseries from Marvel is created by Jac Schaeffer, who is also the head writer of the series, with Matt Shakman serving as the director of the series. Set only 3 weeks after the events of Avengers Endgame, from what we saw, Wanda Maximoff and Vision live in an idyllic suburban life in the town of Westview, New Jersey, trying to conceal their true identities from the rest of the world. As they begin to enter new decades, which are coming maybe even too fast for them, seeing how this is a creation by Wanda Maximoff herself, and also encountering the television tropes, they suspect that the thing they are trying to do are not turning out as they want them to do, and eventually they are not as they seem. With the series shifting through the decades so rapidly and drastically, the involvement of the CGI effect in the series was imminent, and this is just what follows. What would WandaVision really look like without CGI to begin with? Mars. Monsters, aliens, robots, zombies. Before we go further with the video, let's take a look at what CGI or VFX really means, and who are the people behind it. You might not be familiar with the company Mars, but those are the individuals who worked way back in 2001 and did the special effects on Dwayne Johnson's scorpion monster in the infamous The Mummy Returns. When you take a look at it and what are today's special effects, all of us are able to see the difference and the evolution of the company made throughout the years. Some of the newest projects for the company are the works they're doing in the Netflix The Umbrella Academy, Amazon's The Boys, and The Expanse. And the one series we're all here today, Disney Plus WandaVision. Their specialty is VFX for TV, of course, if that was not even known by now. And as they say it, if their proof of talent has not been acknowledged time and time again, then you're not worthy. You are not doing the right thing. Yes, it sounds confusing, but that is the thing with VFX. You're never sure whether something is real or not and how it is actually done.
And I want you to leave.
WandaVision has more VFX than Avengers Endgame. If you're not sure how the series panned out and whether you should watch it, the clear winner in your decision is this. WandaVision has more VFX than Avengers Endgame, a detail which shows just how ambitious the series is. As a series, WandaVision has to be perhaps one of the most unique ideas to come out from Marvel in the recent history, with a variety of genres all compiled in one season, from classic sitcoms from the previous century all the way to the Twilight Zone, and as every previous project from the MCU, this series will also be tied to the big story of the MCU. Marvel also said that even though it is a miniseries, we want the best for it. Just like every movie we did so far, hinting at having the same quality production like other projects so far. The story promises to be unlike any other when we got the news that many of Marvel's biggest set pieces will be integrated in the series. You might ask, how is it possible for the series to have more visual effects involved than the Avengers Endgame? Well, to put it simply, the whole season of the series will last longer than the movie. So there's that, and when you take into consideration the packed story, it should come as a no surprise at all. With the knowledge we have at how the decades changed from the 50s all the way to the newer, more recent age, the visual effects has to be everywhere because even though the series had to incorporate some things from the past, those same things are not able to be fully made without any special effects, because they were a thing of the past and somewhat disappeared as the time went by. Live studio audience. Starting off with something plain and simple, a live studio audience, just like back in the day. Now yes, it's not strictly a visual effect which came out of a machine or a computer, but it still had an effect on the show. And the cast. The first episode of the series was filmed before a live studio audience, and as Elizabeth Olsen explained, the nostalgic part was definitely there, and it made her somewhat confused, which also helped her development of the character, and helped her set herself to bring the character to life, and the role she's playing just right for the sitcom setting of that time, but also added that when the fourth wall was put back up, she felt glad.
I have been a voice with no body. A body but not human, and now...
Practical effect. We just can't imagine a 2020 TV show or a movie without CGI effects. And can they even be good if there aren't any? Well, Marvel is here to prove you wrong. Thus, with their dedication in mind to bring out the closest thing to what a sitcom looked like from the past, especially one where the magic is everywhere while also being accurate and consistent, they turned their heads to the more practical effects, so instead of using CGI effects in the editing room, opting for more invisible strings and less magic. Everything coming together as part of the WandaVision charm. Authenticity. With the previous sitcoms in mind, Matt Shakman aimed for authenticity, not parody, in the process of recreating a sitcom to look just like the ones from the past with the addition of the newer things in the movie industry. As an aftermath for the filming of the series, many elements came into place, from vintage lenses, dated production, and many tiny details to capture the moment, thus making the whole filming process a lot harder, with one of the reasons being how often the camera lenses and the lighting was changing, with the sole purpose of adhering to the decade. Almost no CGI at all. Just as the title says, the first episodes of WandaVision had almost no CGI at all. You're probably confused about the fact, how can this be in a superhero series in the 20th century and it is from Marvel? You just can't help but imagine all the smashing, intergalactic, multi-dimensional adventures, all enhanced with CGI. So in contrast to the dynamic camera movements and CGI-enhanced sets in a conventional MCU movie, the camera in WandaVision became actually fixed, and which also made the superpower actions look like drawn-out twinkles over a crossfade. A huge jump for the special effects team. From blowing things up, setting things on fire, they became puppeteers of things floating in the sky and dealing with magnets. Sitcom Bootcamp. With the CGI side of things completely decreased to almost none, more weight was put on the shoulders of the actors themselves. So to what lengths do they had to go? The answer is Sitcom Bootcamp. The cast had a 2-week sitcom bootcamp. They had to go to school before jumping on set, with the idea to grasp the idea of the sitcoms in the past, the tone, how it was done, how the sitcoms worked, and how it has changed throughout time. During the bootcamp, the cast was even taught how to speak in different dialects depending on how the people spoke in all the different eras, how they talked, walked, and moved around. WandaVision fail. A possible Marvel mistake that became a hot-button issue can also be connected to the deficit of CGI involved. Actors on set had to do their makeup, especially Vision. The makeup on him was done only on the parts which were visible, because to take it off, he had to go into a sauna for an hour or two just to get it off. This is all about a trick of Vision's sleeve showing a human arm in there, with a mistake being Paul Bettany's very unpurple-like skin showing through his shirt while he's sitting on his wing. Two things come across our minds. It's either a wardrobe malfunction, which is nothing too dramatic, or yet another hint from the directors are just how little CGI was used during the making of the series, leaving it on purpose. And knowing how many Marvel mistakes are there in the past, which are practically none, the second guess is that much more fulfilling. On a related note, tell us down in the comments below which of the practical effects overwhelmed you the most and why. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.